NASCAR in Chicago. What do you think about it? A street race in downtown Chicago. 217-629-7970. That's the phone number here for Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. And I want to hear from you. All right, we just got done hearing from the council roundup about the Wyndham City Sitter in downtown Springfield and how they're not going to move forward with a new plan to allow for some apartment buildings. And that's downtown Springfield. But what about downtown Chicago? A lot of you go to baseball games up there. You go to concerts up there. It's been a while since I've been up there. But is a NASCAR race in downtown Chicago next summer going to get you down over to the Windy City? 217-629-7970. That's the phone number here. With Springfield's Morning News, you got a few minutes here to get your calls in. Again, 217-629-7970. Real quick note to pass along. A listener says that they got notified if you're going to be entering a Springfield, Illinois Emergency Management Agency building, they're now requiring COVID tests. And this is for the facilities on Dirksen, on Knott Streets, and Outer Park Drive as well. So if you're going to be entering an IEMA building in Springfield, apparently now they're requiring COVID-19 tests. Not sure what's going on there, if it's just the CDC's status of Sangamon County or what. But I imagine a lot of people on their way to work just getting that email realizing, oh boy, what's going on there. All right, but back to it. NASCAR downtown Springfield. What do you think? 217-629-7970. Again, 217-629-7970. So yesterday they made the announcement that NASCAR is coming to Chicago, and it's not just going to be on a racetrack. They're going to create a racetrack. Here is Ben Kennedy from NASCAR talking about what exactly they've got going on for this big announcement that they made in downtown Springfield yesterday, or downtown Chicago, I should say, yesterday.
This is a monumental day in the history of our sport, NASCAR. And as Marty mentioned, next year we'll be celebrating our 75th year anniversary. In 75 years, our sport has never had a street course. And I am excited and proud to announce to you today that on July 2nd, 2023, the NASCAR Cup Series will be coming to downtown Chicago and racing here. So real excited about it.
Against the sky-blue waters of Lake Michigan, a city rises at the center of the American experience. Amongst the canyons of skyscrapers, impossible doesn't exist. This is a place where all who dare make the most of their dreams. After all, icons that tower above the rest were made here. So in this city, of the greatest of champions, this city, with its buildings that dagger the sky as if height is but a dare, this city, without limitations, welcomes its next icon. A race weekend like no other, on a course like no other. Along these shores, amongst these canyons, the sounds of NASCAR will echo in 2023.
So there you go. NASCAR Chicago Street Race, the first street race of its kind for NASCAR. Chicago tried doing this decades ago. It didn't work, and it failed to get final approval. So we'll see what happens here. We still don't know how much is going to cost taxpayers. We also have some pushback from city aldermen in Chicago saying that they weren't part of these conversations. So I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts? Of course, we're here in Springfield, but Chicago, being in Illinois, you think this is going to be a good or a bad move? What are your thoughts? Good morning. You're on WMAY.
My comment wasn't about Chicago at all. We have a governor who lives and breathes Chicago, and I live and breathe Springfield, and I think that the alderman made a horrible mistake last night. As someone who works in the downtown area, I can't imagine how we need more subsidized housing downtown.
Well, and that appears to be what is going to happen with the Wyndham City Center, the owner of that saying that he's already approved for that. He's already within variance for that. And without having this sale move forward to have some updated apartment buildings in the Wyndham City Center, it's going to be interesting to see the subsidized housing in that building. But that's, again, I understand. Yeah, you live and breathe Springfield. I get it. But big news also on the horizon for Chicago with NASCAR. Your thoughts. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Hey, Greg. Good morning. So I thought of one way they could save a bunch of money. You don't have to bring NASCAR cars in for this. Just line up about 30-some-odd taxi cabs and let them race around the streets up there. That's what they do all the time anyway. So I don't think it's going to work. It's just another distraction for Lori Lightfoot to distract from her horrible record.
Well, I appreciate the call, and she's running for re-election. She's also got a program where they're handing out $500 checks to certain eligible people for a guaranteed income program. So this is obviously something I think is rather fascinating to see unfold. We heard rumblings about this last week. Apparently, they'd been talking about it for a year. But again, some Chicago alder people saying that they had no part in these discussions. So I'm curious what the next steps are. Like, what do they have to get approved to do this, right? Because even in Springfield, when they have a parade, they've got to approve changing or blocking entire city streets. So you're talking 2 days worth of racing. Are they going to have to do some trial racing? They're going to have to block off some streets. How much is this going to cost taxpayers in Chicago, which I don't know if they can afford much more costs with all the other things they've got to deal with. But NASCAR in Chicago, what are your thoughts? 217-629-7970. That's the phone number here for Springfield's Morning News. A lot of NASCAR fans may be excited. I mean, this is a first ever type of street race. That's pretty neat. I could sit back and watch some Formula One racing, right? Because there's a lot of twists and turns and, hairpin turns and things like that. But I just never really got into NASCAR because is it turn right or turn left? Like, that's all you're doing is you're just turning one way. That's it. You just keep turning that way and go around the light and keep turning that way. And maybe if there's a big crash or something, that's kind of exciting, but do you really want that in downtown Chicago? Is the possibility of some big crashes? I don't know if that's the best option. So I'll take another call here at 217-629-7970. Your thoughts? NASCAR with a street race in downtown Chicago. Good morning.
Hey, Bishop. It's going to be interesting. I lived in Des Moines for a while, and they used to have what they called the Rouen Grand Prix downtown, and that actually I don't know why they discontinued the race, but that brought in quite a few people, and they brought in quite a few celebrities, believe it or not. And it was just like one big party. It was a pain in the butt because if you needed to get through town for a week or two there, it was like impossible. But
yeah, I could see it being a big draw.
I'm like you. I'm not a NASCAR fan.
Yeah, but I could see it being a big draw. I could see it being a big draw in tourism, a big draw for celebrity, if they can pull it off. This was just announced yesterday. I don't know what all needs to happen as far as for Chicago alder people to sign off on it, but this obviously is something that we've got in front of us now. The announcement of NASCAR doing a street race in downtown Chicago. Good morning. Your thoughts?
I'm placing bets on how many race cars get carjacked.
Oh, God, get carjacked? Is that what you said? How many race cars get carjacked?
That's what they do up there.
Oh, man. And some people on social media complaining about the possibility of ongoing crime issues. And are they going to be able to deal with those crime issues? 217-629-7970. I'll take two more calls. You're up first. Good morning.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Anything that's new and innovative, street races are great. F1 has this great resurgence here, or a new coming of age here in America. That's great, yeah. But also, it's bread and circus. I mean, the first caller got it right with, the only way that you can make this dead hotel viable in the state is by getting government subsidies. Unfortunately, as a person here who had to make a decision to become an adult, it was medical or state government. Those are your only options in Springfield for a solid career. Unfortunately, there's no industry. This place is dead. Everyone's leaving. I mean, this is just one of those things, bread and circus.
Appreciate the call, 217-629-7970. And final call here about NASCAR in downtown Chicago. Your thoughts?
Yeah, hey, Greg. How you doing?
Good. Yourself?
I hope the city officials come to their senses. I think this is a bad idea. it's just bringing more guns into the city. You get all them hillbillies there packing.
Oh, stop it.
It's just a bad scene.
Oh, stop it. Come on. It's all right. He waited a good 4 or 5 minutes to make that joke. All right. Appreciate everybody chiming in here with Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News.